Square Enix resume expanding the universe of Final Fantasy VII with Rebirth, the direct continuation of Final Fantasy VII Remake and its DLC Integrate. You'd be doing yourself a great disservice to not first play those games, as Rebirth is blatantly the middle game of a trilogy. It's highly recommended to also play the prequel Crisis Core Reunion, which Square remastered and redubbed, so that new players could learn about the character Zack. It will clear up and explain some of the events and characters' behaviors that may leave new players rather confused. It's worth noting that although you'll receive a few bonuses for your previous game saves, the character levels and equipment are completely reset for balancing.
Can't be.
He wants to finish what he started and rule over the planet.
You coming?
Way ahead of ya!
Picking up from Remake, Cloud and company begin their journey around the world to track down the villainous Sephiroth while evading the Shinra company's pursuit. This leads to further mysteries, character backstories, and massively expanded sections from the original 1997 PlayStation game. Even without knowledge of the original's plots, the references and divergences are played out beautifully during gameplay and impressive cutscenes, making them a joy to experience. The world is fleshed out with detailed environments, colourful characters, and tons of content to keep you busy. This game is so big that they had to make a separate data disc alongside the normal PlayStation 5 play disc. You're looking at a minimum of 44 hours playtime if you just focus on the story, and over 130 hours if you're trying to complete everything on offer. If you thought the city of Midgar was huge in Remake, you're going to be impressed at how massive Rebirth is. The world is essentially split into 7 large areas, which you will travel to as you progress through the story. Each area is chock full of content for you to explore. The trope of activating towers is in full effect here, and soon enough your world map will be kerfluckered with so many icons you'll think you're playing an Ubisoft game. Every task you clear gets you special currency for buying rare materia as well as other benefits. Unlocking shrines will weaken a summon challenge, so your fight against them will be easier, while also boosting the effects of the red summoning materia that you'll gain. Fighting certain strong monsters unlocks other challenges for rewards. Discovering livestream springs reveals optional bosses and gives you codex entries about the region. Though all very time consuming, the process can be sped up with scattered fast travel points and regional chocobo that have different traversal abilities. Unless your rideable big bird catches scent of something, then you might end up wanting to explore every nook and cranny for treasures. Scattered materials are also used in the newly added crafting system to make your own consumables and to upgrade your armor and accessories. However, as with all games that have open world like sections, it really messes with the pacing of the story when you're off clearing optional objectives and side quests. It's sometimes jarring or feels like things are getting dragged out, and you could skip the majority, that's true, but they are surprisingly worth your time. Some side quest missions even answer key questions and fill in gaps from the previous games, adding more to the story, world, and character relationship building. So yeah, that's why this review is a bit late. Final Fantasy VII has always been about mini games, and this part of the overall story was always gonna double down on them, especially with visits to the Golden Saucer, a massive theme park complex. You should be out saving the world, but there are so many distractions. Rebirth has its own card game called Queen's Blood that has several challenges scattered across the world, even a tournament during one chapter, and you'll find yourself collecting and building decks to take on other players and progress a pretty interesting side story. It reminded us heavily of our times playing Gwent in The Witcher 3. Queen's Blood really surprised us with its quality and depth, and it's understandable given that it had its own separate team dedicated to its development. The Chocobo racing has been massively improved and now plays more like Mario Kart, easily having the potential to be its own spin-off game. The motorbike sections from Remake return as an arcade machine where you play for the high score. There are just so many minigames packed into Rebirth, as well as mini mechanics for small sections of the story, such as valve turning and Mako cleaning. It certainly keeps things fresh and varied as you trot around the globe. A lot of the games are fun and incredibly creative, but damn, we got triggered over a few of them, mostly down to fiddly controls that felt like they were just added to get use out of the PlayStation 5 controller's touchpad and haptic feedback.
No fair! Back off!
Well done.
That was nothing.
The combat gameplay from Remake and Integrate returns with its blend of real-time fighting and old-school ATB system, but with further improvements. You now have access to additional team-up moves while holding down the block button after unlocking them through character skill trees. In addition, switching between characters and using enough techniques and spells in a battle allows two of the characters to perform a special synergy technique that'll cause damage, extend enemy stagger, or grant an extra ATB bar. These look incredible, and while we know it's best to switch to the free character for more DPS, we can't bring ourselves to do so because just look at them. They're so damn cool. Each character feels unique and has their own playstyle. Barret is your long-range tank, while Tifa is your speedy up-close Punisher. Red 13 was introduced in Remake, but is now an actively playable character, plus there are a couple of new characters to get to grips with. Some can be tricky to get used to, but thankfully there are replayable tutorials for each character, and anyone can still be set up with ability and magic given materia to absolutely smash through enemies or become the ultimate support. Integrate players need not worry, Yuffie is still OP and melts everything. In fact, they buffed her. The voice acting talent on display here is truly incredible, with the whole cast delivering their lines to perfectly match the characters and situations. The direction and performances of each character really brings the story and events to life, pulling out a range of emotions that had us crying, laughing, and cheering repeatedly. The music throughout continues to be of the highest quality. Every region, scene, and battle has a magnificent new track or arrangement of Nobuo Uematsu's classic Final Fantasy VII music, and it's nice to see some tracks get highlighted via the piano minigame, despite how difficult that can get.
Get him! Come on!
However, despite being able to tweak various audio volume settings, Rebirth suffers from the same issues as Remake, where important dialogue gets drowned out by other sounds. Extra annoying when you play with the subtitles off. You could be following a character walking through a town, trying to explain a plot point, but their words are lost among really loud town NPCs delivering all their background babble. It's just as bad in some battles, as sound effects and the backing track just completely drown out the cool dialogue you might be having with a boss. One even gave us what we believe was a bit of a lore dump, but we actually couldn't hear it even when trying to pause the action. As with most big games these days, there's always the chance of bugs, and thankfully we only came across a few. One instance had an NPC that stopped walking their path, but happening right after a checkpoint meant a quick reload solved it. Manual and autosaves allowed us to continue after 2 separate hard crashes as well, but it destroyed the PlayStation 5 recordings we were doing at the time, making us wonder if recording contributed to any strain on the system. Patch 1.02 also bugged progression on the final side quest, something that'll hopefully get fixed in the next patch, but is certainly something to be aware of if you're a completionist.
All right. Let's bring this one home.
The biggest takeaway from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is just how incredible the world, lore, and cast of characters are. While Remake introduced you to the world and its key players, Rebirth is a more intimate look at each of the characters, their motivations, their hopes, and their history. In this way, it reminded us somewhat of Mass Effect 2, in that it is a story about a journey and a team of friends who become a family along their adventure as they face challenges and heartbreaks together. While we have thoughts on the ending and other narrative choices, we won't go into detail here as spoilers, but if you're interested and would like to hear us discuss the ending and other things in more detail, please let us know. What we can say is we are very excited to see where the story goes and hope it won't be another 4-year wait to play it. So, have you played Rebirth and what did you think? Please keep it spoiler free in the comment section below. If you have any questions that we haven't answered, please ask those too. Hope you enjoyed the review. If you did, please do us a solid and limit break that like button, subscribe and comment. Have a great week, take care, and as always, happy gaming. We should go.
The reunion, when spite and sorrow are harvested to feed the planet.